Buongiorno and welcome back to those who have been following me in my other videos, and welcome to the new people who have found this video, or maybe they were attracted by the title. This one will be specifically for beginners, and it will be like the very first lesson when you start learning Italian. Obviously, this is always a very good revision for others, maybe intermediate, um, especially for certain constructions. But as I said, this is mainly targeting complete beginners. So we are really starting from the basics. Obviously, like for everyone, really, when we are starting something new, we always feel a little bit nervous and inadequate. But we have to, especially as adults learning something new, we always feel a little bit like, oh no. But we just have to really go past this feeling of feeling nervous and just do our best. And always keep in mind when you're learning, there is always a bit of frustration because you feel you're never learning. Instead, you are learning, just because you have to keep adding new things. So you feel sometimes that you are at the same level. Instead, if you look back, what did I know a week ago? What did I know a month ago? And how much have I learned in this time? So what you need in order to learn a language, like many other things, is commitment, first of all. And you have to be consistent as well. I always compare it to going to the gym, paying for the monthly fees. That is not enough to become fit, obviously. And if you don't go to the gym regularly, you're not going to become fit or to change your body shape, for example. It really is the same thing. If you want to see progress, you have to keep at it. You have to do many repetitions. You have to dedicate time to the new things, and also go back to the old things and make sure that everything still makes sense. Anyway, so this will be lesson one for complete beginners. I'm going to share a page that I have prepared already with a few things. As I said, the basics, we're starting from the basics. So a verb, I'm actually assuming that you know what a verb is, although I don't want to be patronizing and explain you things that you know already. A verb are those words that express an action, things that we do. Or I've heard some descriptions for a verb are the doing words. So a very essential verb in English as well, as we are using English and in any other language probably, is the verb to be. In Italian, the verb to be is essere. I'm going to assume that mostly you know hardly anything about, not only about Italian, but about languages in general. So to be or essere are the verbs in their own, let's call it the original form. In the sense, if I go in the dictionary, and I'm talking about traditional paper dictionaries, if you're looking for to be, you look for be, and you're going to find essere, and the other way around, obviously. You're not really you're not likely to find the verb in other forms, like when you're saying I am going, or I am here. You'll find the verb to be. I hope this is clear. Whenever there are things that you are not sure of, please leave a comment and I will I'll do a follow-up to every session where I can clarify or add more information to whatever I've said in the specific session. So, as I said, here we've got the verb to be. On the right, we've got it in English. On the left, we have it in Italian. What I have done, I have conjugated the verb, meaning I have changed the verb according to who is talking or who we are talking about. So, for example, the verb to be, if I'm talking about myself, I'm going to say, I am. I am here. I am going somewhere. I am, in my case, Sandra. I am Italian, for example. So this is the conjugation, changing the origin, the verb in its own original form according to the person who is speaking or the person we are talking to. So we have it, just to make it clear, this is the verb to be conjugated, meaning this is the person, I, you, he, she, we, you, and they. And this is the verb changed or conjugated according to each person. And this is the Italian version. So we have io, which is I, tu, which is you, lui is he, lei, she, noi, we, voi, you, plural, so a group. When you're talking, you're saying you, but you're talking to a group. Different from you when you're talking to one person only. Finally, we have loro, which is they. As you can see, this verb, essere, to be, when we conjugate it, really very much like English, it changes a bit every time we conjugate it according to the person. Can you see, when I say I am doesn't look at all like be. Are doesn't look like be. Is doesn't look like be either. And they don't look like each other either. And it's something that when you learn your own language as a baby, as a child, as a toddler, you don't really realize. You just copy, you just hear and just say exactly what you hear. Only when you're learning another language or you're looking at your own language from a graph point of view, then you think, oh, right, look at that. How complicated is it? So it can be a little bit daunting, but like everything, when it's new, it can be a little bit scary. So I'm going to read each of these lines. Also, I'm going to pronounce really clearly and slowly so you can hear the pronunciation of these words. Io sono, I am. Tu sei, you are. Lui è, he is. Lei è, she is. Noi siamo, we are. Voi siete, you are. Loro sono, they are. So this is, I don't need to explain anymore, I guess, because you have exactly as I said, the Italian on one side and the English on the other side. Verbs in general are not all this difficult to learn. Here you really have a lot of new words anyway, and to learn to start with. But what you're going to do, you will become familiar with this io, tu, lui, lei, noi, voi, loro, because you'll see them over and over. But when you are learning and also conjugating other verbs, they're not all so different from each other. Like in English, for example, if you say, let's go for the verb to eat. I don't know, being in Italy, maybe that's what you think about all the time. Verb to eat is both in English and in Italian, they're regular verbs, so they don't really change as much as these verbs here. So in English, I eat, you eat, he, she eats, we eat, you eat, they eat, just the same. So that would be a regular verb, very, very similar for the persons. It is exactly the same principle in Italian. I'm not going to give you a specific example because it's a little bit too soon now. I don't want to confuse you too much. So now let's see, how can we use this verb? As I said, the verb to be, essere, it's very, very important. In fact, it is crucial. In fact, even in English, how many times you use I am, you are you there? Who is coming today? Are we going, etc., etc. So many times if you think about it. So we can use this verb to say a lot of information about ourselves. So on the very first lesson, or in Italian, you can already learn how to say quite a few things just with one verb. We are going to concentrate on when we're talking about ourselves, we're going to give informations about ourselves. So io sono, I am. Let's see what we can say with this. How many information we can give with just io sono, I am. You can say your name. I chose Marco. Io sono Marco. I am Marco. Io sono italiano. I am Italian. Io sono di Venezia. I am from Venice. Io sono a Roma, in Italia. I am in Rome, in Italy. As I said, it is basic information, so basic language as well. But let's see a little bit exactly how did we say these words and how are they different from English, so that you can try and make sense of the language and maybe try to find a way to memorize it. Everybody has a different, completely different way, obviously, to learn and to make sense of things. So as you can see here, simply io sono Marco. I am Marco. The reason why I put io in brackets is that unlike English, where you always need to say I, you, he, she, you don't say I'm here. Are you? No. Are here. Is here. You always need to say I, you, he, she. You always need to do it in English. In Italian, you don't, because normally the verb is quite different. So once you learn the verb, the conjugation, then you can drop the person, io, tu, lui, lei, noi, voi, loro, because the verb itself already tells you who is talking or who you're talking to. At this point, this is probably a little bit too much. You probably feels a little bit more advanced. And I feel, especially for an English speaker, I feel using io gives a little bit of like a safety, something about safety, because it sounds very much like English. And in English, as I said, it would be a little bit strange to drop I or you or he, she. So it gives you also the same amount of words that you would use in English. But feel free to drop it, meaning not to use it, because normally we use it when we are emphasizing, for example, I am Italian, however, he is from another of another nationality. I am from Venice, however, she is from Rome. So in this case, when there, as I said, when we are emphasizing one person against another. However, for this, especially at the beginning, I am going to use the person all the time. So going back to the first the first sentence, io sono Marco, I am Marco. Quite straightforward. Here, this so we can tell our name. The second information that we can give about ourselves is our nationality. Again, if we compare it with English, normally you'd say, I am from Italy in this case. I am from England. I am from Australia, or whichever country we are talking about. In Italian, we don't say the country, we say the actual nationality. So you would say, I am Italian, I am Australian, I am English, I am American, I am Canadian, I am, I don't know, whichever the nationality. And a little information as well, we don't use capital letters for the nationalities. You can't see it here because it's all big letters. So I am Italian is what we would say instead of I am from Italy. Io sono italiano. Now, if we've got the very first little interesting things. If instead of Marco, we have a female instead, are we going for, let's go for Valeria. As you probably know or you've heard of it, in Italians, like other languages, like French and Spanish, for example, we have the difference between masculine and feminine for many words. Nationality is one of them. So if I'm talking and I am Marco, I would say io sono italiano, masculine. However, if I am Valeria, then I would say io sono italiana with the A. So a male would say italiano, a female would say italiana. So this is, as I said, we're talking about the nationality. Everything else, as you can see, and also so far, and also in the next few sentences, does not make a difference between masculine or feminine. Another information that we can say about ourselves is the city, exactly, city, town, village we are from, which is a question that in Italy people ask a lot. For example, if you meet another Italian, even if it's from the same region as yours, the very first question, where are you from? Meaning which village or town or city are you from? Because I'm sure you know, Italy is divided into 20 regions, and every region really has its own traditions and culture. So there are big differences between these 20 regions. And it is always very interesting, intriguing to know which region, which town or city you come from within Italy, as I said. So here, if you are, in this case, Venezia, which is Venice, io sono di Venezia, I am from Venice. Literally, what you are saying is, I am of Venezia. The word di, means of, meaning I belong to Venice. That's where I'm from. I am part of Venice. Instead, another information that you can say is where you are at the moment, because you may be from Venice, however, you may be living in another city or visiting another city. In this case, we still have io sono, I am, io sono a Roma in Italia. I am in Rome in Italy. Here again, we're starting to see some new little words which are used in specific ways, like in other languages. So, a Roma, in English, it would be in Rome. However, we use a in Italian when we're talking about a city. In front of a city, town, village, we use a. In front of a country, a continent, and which has country, continent, and some other places. I do have a separate video about this that you can watch separately, all these little words, how to use them and the rules about them. For now, I'm concentrating on these examples, otherwise it's a bit too much information. So a, because we have a city, in, because we have a country. So I think that is, so these are the information that you can give, but probably somebody would ask you a question, so you can give these answers. Let's see the questions then. So hopefully you are absorbing and understanding, because this is next step. As I said, we are adding a little bit. So these are the questions that you would use, or somebody would use, and we would get these answers. So now, obviously, if I'm saying I am Marco, somebody asks me, who are you? What is your name as well? We are going for who are you? If I say I am Italian or I'm from Venice, somebody asks me, where are you from? If I'm saying I am in Rome, somebody asks me, where are you? So this is what we're going to use. And just as a little reminder, as I said, when we're talking about ourselves, we're using the first line, io sono, I am. But when you're asking somebody, or when somebody is asking you, they're going to use you are. In Italian, tu sei. And don't forget to pronounce the I. It's not se. Se is another word that means something else. Is tu sei. Pronounce everything. This one peculiarity of Italian. Pronounce everything. Don't leave anything out. So we're going to concentrate on these two. Io sono, I am, tu sei, you are. So let's see our questions. Again, I've written the complete question, sentence question, without dropping anything, which as I normally we could drop two, but I've included it so you can also see in which position it would be in the sentence if you want or need to use it. So here we've got two, which, as I said, it means you. You have sei, which means are, and we have a new word here. This word means who. So the meaning for this sentence is who are you? You can start seeing the different word order as well, especially in questions. So you have to accept it. This is how it is. He said, oh, this one. just learn it. In fact, it's very often it's a very good idea to learn a whole sentence, like in this case, a question. Tu chi sei? Tu chi sei? Repeat it many times. So knowing what you're saying, and accepting that that is the form, that is the word order, without saying, but why? Or trying to translate words by word in the in a word order which is instead typical of another language, in this case English. So literally is you who are. Who are you? Tu chi sei? Chi means who. So the answer to this question can be io sono Marco or io sono Valeria. We're going to use both. Here we have another question. So this is if you're asking where somebody is from. The answer to this question could be with nationality, depending on the context, obviously. If I am in Italy, nobody's going to ask me where you're from, you know, what nationality are you? Of course, I'm Italian. Or if I'm in another country, then it's obviously it's a more obvious question is if somebody asks me where you're from, because maybe there is an accent or something like that. So yeah, it depends on the context. In Italy, if somebody asks me where are you from, they want to know the city or the town, not my nationality. So this question depends, as I said, so the answer to this question depends on the context, on who you are and where you are at the moment. So we have tu again, which means you. We have sei, which means are. We have, can you see this little word di, which we have seen earlier? Di, which means of, when you belong to a place. Something is of a place. And then we also have another new word, which is dove. Dove means where. Where? So all together would be tu di dove sei? Literally, of where are you? In this word order. As I said, the answer to this could be with nationality. Io sono italiano, if you are a male talking, or io sono italiana, if you are female. Obviously, we can see some other, later on, separately, we'll see some other nationalities. We're doing Italians now. Another way to answer to this question would be with your city or town. So you can say, io sono di Venezia. Can you see we've used di, which is the same word that we have here. Obviously, you can give a complete answer. Io sono italiano di Venezia. I am Italian from Venice. So one question, two answers, or two in one. If instead you want to, so to this answer, when you're saying where you are, somebody would ask you, where are you? Or you can ask somebody, where are you? So here we've got tu, which is you, sei, which is are, and then again, we've got the same word that we had in the previous question, dove. Dove means where. Where are you? The answer, io sono a Roma in Italia. I'm not going to recap the whole thing. Otherwise, you last forever. Let me just write here, even if you have the video to listen to, but where are you from? If photographic memory helps instead or works better for some of you. Uh, you. So more or less the number of words, the type of words that we have is the same. As I said, we have differences. One example, from in English, when you're asking somebody's nationality or place of origin. Instead, in Italian, we use of. Where are you of? Where do you belong to, basically? Word order is a little bit different as well. These are all things that we just need to get used to. When we're learning a language, there are many whys, but there isn't always a because. There isn't always an explanation why things are a certain way. I hope this has helped. As I said, this is lesson 1 for beginners. The verb to be, essere, is crucial. You can give a lot of information, basic information about yourself, but then also in the future, when you become more fluent, when you get to a different level as well, the verb to be, essere, is just a basic. Think, as I said, think in English, how many times you use it in a conversation every day. It really is one of the most important things that you can learn in a new language. So I hope you have enjoyed this lesson 1, prima lezione. Do like the video, subscribe. If something is not clear, if you want to ask any questions, please write a comment, and I will always upload a new video to answer your questions. And also, I do one-to-one tuition if you are interested. Again, send me an email, write a comment, and get in touch, and we can talk about that as well. I will be doing some other lessons, following and adding from this lesson, so it will make sense if you follow the lessons in order. If you are a complete beginner, or if you're not a complete beginner, you can use instead these videos as a revision if you need to. So I will say bye for now, and I will see you on our next lesson for beginners, which will be seconda lezione, second lesson. Bye bye, ciao.